Hello, everyone. Welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Sauvik Banerjjee. Hi, Sauvik. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Priya. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, my name is Sauvik Banerjjee. I'm 48, family man with two boys, wife, living in Mumbai, technically a British and a UK national. And my journey started being a professional sportsman back in the day and played a pretty serious level of cricket. Um,
Oh,
Played for under 16 Bengal, 19 Bengal as part of the India national camp. Then went on to play Ranji Trophy 4 years in Bengal with great minds and likes of Saurav and Sabah Karim and Arun Lal and Lakshmi Ratan Shukla and Rohan Gavaskar, Deep Das Gupta, and was a serious cricketer. I went to MRF for a few years. And while playing cricket, I used to go to England during the summer monsoon times because we never had 365 days of cricket.
mm,
Father and mother, both academicians, father being a very senior academic and a scientist, part of the Calcutta University, founder of multiple science colleges. And academia was in the family. So while computing slowly immersed in my life back in late 90s, that led me to transition and transcend a very different and interesting journey of how I became a technologist. First venture being an online music platform, which is one of the biggest in the world today. In parallel, was pursuing my research doctorates in physical robotics and natural language processing with core neural networks about 24 years back. And yeah, from University of Sunderland and Durham. Used to live in the northeast of England, and then life took over as a technologist, multiple entity ventures back in the day. The barcodes venture, barcode scanning ventures was one of my youngest and pioneering startups. And then went on to build and work for various large technology companies like Infosys across the Europe, headed consumer tech, then was the first two or three members who founded Accenture Digital. And today, what you know what Accenture Digital has become, and then went on to build the leadership of SAP. And in the meantime, played many roles in consumer tech and platform tech in SaaS and PaaS.
okay.
Brought me back to India to build the entire Geo's consumer-facing platforms. And in parallel, on behalf of SAP, was building Tata Click and its ecosystem. Was part of the Tata Group for 6 years, building Tata Click, Tata Digital, Tata FinTech, Tata New, and then the whole acquisition of Big Basket, 1MG, and building Chroma and all of that. Then went on to build Rezolve AI with one of my oldest friends, who was Daniel Wagner. I worked with him in building Venda and NetSuite back in the day. And then Dan Wagner and I started building Resolve. Parallelly, I started working with the TCG group and started building Sirrus.ai and Ziki. So yeah, I mean, the journey has been, today I run Ziki and Sirrus.ai full time, and I've taken a little bit of a backseat, not major backseat, a little bit of a backseat in Resolve AI, and became advisory because it's very difficult to run three full-time operating roles. Yeah, that's a snapshot of my journey, Priya.
Yeah, I think, wow, that's quite an introduction and lot of achievements throughout your career. But I could figure out two or three distinct phases of your life. So you started with a cricketing career, and then you moved on to entrepreneurship, and that is quite interesting. Being an entrepreneur, that too in a digital space, that's so different from being a cricketer. Then went on the corporate route. You started working for other companies, and then from 2022 onwards, you have been again working on your own ventures. I want to deep dive into the latest ventures that you have been building. Tell us about it. Like, how did you come up with the idea to start something fresh, and what was the thought process behind it?
Let me say that what Resolve AI was happening, and I was an advisor to the core founding team of Daniel Wagner because, of course, Dan and I have worked over the years. Dan had listed multiple companies in New York and Nasdaq and London stock exchanges, and while working and I had come back to India, and I used to keep going back to UK, being a UK national, had a house and a full ecosystem for 2 decades. And what was the original thought? The original thought of building that business was, geolocation. E-commerce had become pretty matured. Internet accessibility with 4 and 5Gs were predominantly pretty decent in Europe, having lower amount of consumers, and the bandwidth is completely available, as you know, compared to a 1.4 plus billion people using internet.
Right.
And Resolve AI was solving a geolocation targeting platforming play for consumers. So, example, you could be Tesco's, or you could be Halfords, or you could be a retailer like H&M or whoever. And the store-based model requires people to move into the store, and there's an offline-online play organically, which happens in Western Europe and US, and very much so in India too. But the idea was, if they are in close proximity, and if they're a .com and an app customer, if they are in close proximity of these stores, and a historical customer or a new customer, how can we basically solve the problem that, you, Priya and Sauvik, two different customers of two different retailers, are in the nearby hyper-local, nano-local postcode, zip code zones, and walking around in a cafe, can I ping the individual with explicit consent, because GDPR is a very big part of Europe and US. So there's a big gap, and the opportunity which came. So there was a geolocation platform, Resolve was. And then when I finished my Tata Group stint, and we were having hit and a miss, and that's what we were trying to build a team. And I was kind of continuously working and advising Dan, not in full capacity, because I was running Tata Digital and Tata New and all other organizations, building the coalition loyalty. And then when Dan said, Sauvik, why don't you full-time come now? I mean, you've been helping me every week for 20, 30 hours, 20 hours. You're working with me, and of course, you work and help friends all the time, right? And he said, why don't you come over? And so, yeah, I think I should come over, because there's something missing. And this LLM story of OpenAI, we actually had built a major LLM platform called Brain Power. And back in the day, and our CTO, Dr. Salman Ahmed, who comes from an AI very similar to me, AI and a 3D computer vision graphics background, we were trying to do AI-based scanning capability. So a phone can scan an object. It's like Google Lens, kind of very much a little bit more sharper and accurate. And it could do audio as well. We had built the AI capability to listen to any ambient noise, advert, television, movies, songs, and it was like a Shazam plus plus. So then we started building that whole AI platforming play properly, and we thought that, in e-commerce, we will solve one large use case rather than solving anything and everything. And we always believe in the principles, less is more. And we saw, e-commerce has had this concept called search and dynamic filters and facets on the left-hand side, whether, the largest of retailers like Amazon's to the youngest marketplaces.
Right.
What if the new age form factor would be a replacement? What's the futurism of e-com browse, discovery, navigation looks like, right? So that is where we were able to crack the set of small language model and large language model on a dedicated product set, not fragments and pieces of data over the internet. Example, I'll give you an India context, easier for all our listeners, than a US context. So if you have a Best Buy catalog of all electronic items and their SKUs and attributes, and iPhone with XYZ attributes, or refrigerator with XYZ attributes, color, capacity, all of that. And that's a structured catalog. And a conversational AI on a structured catalog will give you far accurate responses. It kind of becomes the digital concierge or a companion, exactly like a store assistant. That was the one line brief we wanted to work from. And
Mhm.
today that has taken off. And today, Rezolve AI is championing that space. And we listed in NASDAQ as the first Gen AI company in August 2024, just about a few months back. And the journey of building a public markets company as a Gen AI company started. So, I mean, as an entrepreneur, that whole journey has seen multiple pivots, multiple course corrections. And in parallel, I was building Sirrus.ai in India under the leadership of TCG, the ChatGPT group, who founded the business and brought in to say that, Sauvik, maybe you can be a guiding force in driving and setting up this. And Ziki is a community platform with core AI principles and tenets. And that's how it started. And Sirrus.ai is solving the entire home buyer's journey for a real estate developer, from understanding the quality and intelligence of the lead to actually taking the home buyer and the first time buyer, making them move into a home, pre-possession, post-possession, settling them down. So finding him a home. So it's not a listing platform. It's a B2B SaaS prospect and a customer experience platform for a Cat A or a Category B real estate developers. And
Mhm.
Ziki is the community platform. Just the next version is, all these urbanization of India. We have this gate management system and great parking management systems. Nobody's bringing people together. Nobody's able to bring people downstairs and create a community. And that's where we found that, shared interests, matches of shared values, and then monetize that as part of community commerce. E-commerce is pivoting, and that's where AI is playing a big part for Ziki in building a community commerce. Rezolve AI is solving the e-commerce world of search by conversational AI. And Sirrus.ai is solving the real estate industries, the prospect to a home buyer's journey from the B2B to C place. So, and yeah,
Mhm.
interestingly, world, yeah, AI is continuously trying to break the clutter. And not all are Gen AI. Let's have
Mhm.
clarity. Gen AI is one of the many towers of AI. And
Right.
it keeps me excited, man, to build young businesses and take them to a certain level. And there's a lot of hard work which goes on.
Got it. And we will discuss about these individual pieces separately. First, I want to explore, go a little deep down on Zen AI, generative AI. I think that
Yeah,
has been a buzzword after ChatGPT came, and now,
yeah,
in my experience, I have seen every company is trying to have some sort of initiative around the AI, and especially into Gen AI, and even governments have started, government agencies like small
yes.
departments, they have also come up with their own Gen AI bots. So it's entering every space, every department, every industry, and I mean every corner of the world. Uh, Tell us how the Resolve AI is using different use cases of Gen AI to solve. So, what are the common use cases that you have been seeing? And uh, AI is also evolving rapidly. Like ChatGPT is coming up with the different variations every month, every 2, 3 months. So, how your platform is also developing simultaneously? Or yeah.
So I think, and a lot of your listeners would know this, but let me just break the world of AI into a minute first.
Sure.
Gen AI is Gen AI is probably 8 to 10% of the overall AI play. Because it has become public consumers, Gen AI is probably the latest entrant,
Mhm.
because anybody and everybody is using Gen AI. Um, that's why the buzz is higher. It has become a common man's tool across the planet.
Right.
Let's put it that way first. What can Gen AI do? They scavenge and mine the internet, whatever the quality of data there is on the internet, provide based on prompt, gives you an image, a textual response, can create a video, and or create an amalgamation of all three.
Mm-hmm.
But the backbone behind Gen AI is still learning models based on supervised and unsupervised learning. And that's why you see a lot more accuracy coming through in the outputs of all three. That's just
Right.
one part of AI. Other major parts of AI has crept in much before. Physical robotics, if you see Musk's robots, or automation industry, automotive industry, whether it's Mercedes-Benz to Tata Motors, they are all building machine assembly, machine building robots. Robotics, for surgery in robotics, healthcare robotics, primarily has neural network, has precision-based, pinpointed, process-based efficiency. So that's core AI, which is based on if a robotic surgery happens on your knee, the ability for that surgery to have more learnings about a 48-year-old, 6 feet 2 inches guy is very different to another 48-year-old, 5 feet 11 inches guy. So that's nothing to do with Gen AI. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what are the other parts? The physical robotics, the humanoids, which is getting built today, Boston Dynamics, Musk's entire humanoids, which we just saw released, right?
Yes.
That's got nothing to do with Gen AI. That's pure AI. That's cognitive AI. Then you have the other world where you see the feed of Google, the feed of YouTube, the feed of Facebook, the feed of TikTok and Instagram. What you see is what you get principles, right? There's got deep mind. So that's recommendation and n equal to 1 personalization. So that's predictive AI.
Mm-hmm.
That's core neural modeling. And there's different parts of AI which is seeped in much before Gen AI. In regards to Gen AI and the usage of Gen AI, I have a very simple point of view. America and Western Europe, especially UK and China, will have their own evolution. One, why? And I'll come to the Rezolve use case in a minute.
Sure.
Because one language, one type of consumption, one type of food palette, one type of consuming patterns. But when it comes to India, India's got multiple languages, multiple cultures, multiple food patterns, multiple lifestyles. So the AI learning of India, including Gen AI, would be very disruptive and very matured. Now, Rezolve is trying to solve something very simple for the US and the European market. I mean, it's common retail e-commerce. One large use case example. Today, if I want to go to a home decor e-commerce website, I will say, I want to buy a set of dinner dishes. I want to buy two flower pots. I want to buy, a couple of shelves to keep my bookshelves, which is a DIY bookshelf for about 50 books. The way, if you want to go into an example, an IKEA or any store in India or in the US, you will go on through the planogram, right? You will ask the store assistant, this is where my 5 feet by 10 feet square view is. This is where I want to position. So it has to be a conversation. On the online world, it just gives you a set of search results.
Okay.
With meta title, search results page, click product detail page, click inventory check, click delivery date check, one-click checkout. What if this whole process is far more interpersonal, with voice, with text, with visuals, and still a one-click checkout? That's at least a 4-click, and 4-click means billions of dollars in the e-commerce world.
Right.
4 clicks is getting solved. Fundamentally, the conversational capability of a store assistant is, of course, I am a store assistant and Priya comes to my store to buy decor product, I will actually warm Priya up. I'll probably talk to him for 5-7 minutes, understand the requirements, and then walk with him across the aisle till you find something. And then I'll say, Priya, I think I've got some things over here. It fits my requirements. I will give you a shout out. In that 10 minutes, you've become influencer of the conversion journey. That's what Rezolve's intent is. And I think we're doing quite okay with that. It's a very hard, difficult change because such is a behavior. So we're trying to change some behavior in .coms and in app economy and replicate a companion or a store assistant capability of brick and mortar. So it's not going to be easy, but well, who said entrepreneurship was easy?
Got it. And tell us about the other venture of yours, which is into real estate. How is
Yeah.
AI getting used
Let me
there,
let me
and
let
what
me give
flavors?
clarity. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And let me give clarity. It's not my ventures; it's TCG Groups. Of course, I'm the founding leader. Um, Ziki is primarily building communities for urban societies of India, playing the role of a professional growth lab and shared interests communities. See, communities are there in groups, WhatsApps and Facebooks. Right? If me and you are in a Facebook group, will we ever meet?
Hmm.
If me and Priya are or some of our colleagues are in a Facebook or a WhatsApp group, even living in the same society, how many times do we meet?
Never.
Yes, we meet during Ganesh Chaturthi and Diwali and when our kids are performing. At least I go and say hi, hello, and have a jalebi and a samosa. That's
Right.
about it. Or maybe Holi. What if both Priya and me love trekking? What if both Priya and me are wealth management individuals? What if Priya and me are discussing, studying abroad? What if Priya and me are part of the travel club or hikers or bikers
Mhm.
or trekking communities? Everything resides in societies in India today, right? We don't go to clubs anymore because the amenities are residing, whether
Right.
it's tennis court or swimming pool, in every premium society and every new society, urban society of top 12 cities, then the next 30 cities, you have these amenities. People are coming together, but very fragmented, but there's no platform.
Hmm.
And of course, commerce. And this whole bedrock of community platform, offline meeting up online is what Ziki. And of course, there are nuggets, hundreds of nuggets of AI in matching people's interests. But it's a very offline to online business, but very centered around the society, gated society community. Um,
Mhm.
Nothing to do with gate management or parking management, which is doing fabulously well. Sirrus.ai is also trying to solve a very sharp use case. Today, you go to any of the property listing platforms like Magic Bricks or No Brokerhood or 99 Acres. You look for a property, you call up, the salesperson or the broker will give you a spiel, send you a brochure about maybe in a day's time if you give him enough time. Maybe book a viewing, and then after the viewing, maybe send something. And maybe if you're interested, it takes days and days to get a 2D to 3D. And then if you put a booking, then it takes days to get that whole journey. So there's so much things involved. Am I interested in looking at the property? First set of intelligence today is very much missing. How much am I interested? If I'm interested, will I come for the viewing? If I've come
Mhm.
for the viewing, did I like it? There's so much of intelligence, human behavior. Nothing is getting captured. If I'm interested in the viewing, shall I come back for the second viewing with my wife and my family? Great. Now I'm putting in 1 lakh rupee booking fee. Okay, that's a big part. Once the booking fee is done, am I going to get the full 2D to 3D makeover within minutes? No, you have to wait for weeks because it's a
Right.
costly affair. Entire brochure, sending the family brochure. It's one brochure which is pertinent to Sauvik, one brochure which is pertinent to B, C, D, E, Y, Priya, many other people. So there's not my world of 3, 4 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. is never customized. It's a generic flat template. Then now coming to possession, so much of documentation, so much of the real estate developers are populating so many projects. 1,000 people are moving into the. So there is discrepancy, fragmentation, communication issues. So what's happening is that is completely broken in that model, and that is a process which we are. So this whole arc of prospect to a customer to moving in is all powered by AI. 2D to 3D is getting powered by AI, happening in seconds. Marketing collaterals for you, for your type of flat in the same tower to my type of flat in minutes before your booking fee. And
Right.
then the hand holding and intelligence of leads for a sales guy in a real estate team. Am I interested? Am I not interested? Understand voice, sentiment analysis, all of that is Sirrus.ai. But solving the large use case, customers' experience plus the real estate developers' experience of getting their dream home. But it's a B2B.
Okay. Got it. So we have discussed about your businesses and the industry you are operating in. Now let's move on to entrepreneurship in general, and I wish to understand how has been your journey as a entrepreneur. So one thing I noticed about you is in a long so when you see from a 40,000 feet and you try to understand what has happened throughout your life, one trend I have been observing is you have variety of interests. So you have worked in music, cricket, real estate, e-commerce, and each of these industries have their own nuances. And typically, people kind of spend their whole life in one industry, doubling down on whatever they know, move up the ladder. Sometimes, go into similar industries. But in your case, I think you have got a variety of interests, and similar trend I have been seeing with the industry innovators like Elon Musk. So he also have
That's a bit of a comparison, but I'll take it.
so tell us like how do you find interest in so much of variety of things.
It's a big it's a very great observation actually. The advantage people like we have, and we underestimate the advantage. Career technology. See, technology has become horizontal.
Mm,
Right. E-com is serving insurance, e-com is serving electronics, e-com is serving food, e-com is serving pharmacy, e-com is horizontal.
right.
When I work for B2B or large organizations like the likes of Infosys, Accenture, SAP, technology is getting implemented, whether it's S4HANA, whether it's a platform for ERP, whether it's a platform for CRMs, whether it's a consumer tech platform. That example of Walmart is working with an Accenture, or an Adidas is working with the Infosys, or a Walgreens is working with TCS, or SAP has got so many different types of industries. Technology allows you to learn about various industries because at the end of the day, that tech, you don't create customized tech for every business, right?
Mm,
Especially tech and the implementing companies like the Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, Accenture, they are the implementation giants of a Salesforce, an Oracle, or an IBM, or Azure Cloud, the usage of Azure Cloud. These guys are the experts in knowing these tech stacks. So I played in that. So it allows me to learn about industry. So when I go from music to e-com in retail to building something for real estate, technology and AI remains a horizontal.
mhm.
It's an added advantage, to be honest, if you're a career techie. And you, people like yourselves, give us so much of credit, but we don't deserve it because if all of us in our tech communities who have grown up the ladder in their life have been tech entrepreneurs, have that advantage because tech has become the single fulcrum required for every business's existence.
Yes.
And now AI, and people like us, probably who are pioneers of the old world AI, and not 25 years, not many people are there. So it's an added advantage, very lucky. Nobody knew AI would be consumed like this crazy, because 25 years back, I didn't get a job or I was went into consumer tech, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now, the entrepreneurial model is a little different.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurial model, especially to my case, is I like building things. I am always a believer of building technology with great minds. I like working with high performing teams. And in tech industry, you have a mix of tech and non-tech employees. But to build a business from zero to, I mean, the journey of Tara Digital and Rezolve and Sirrus.ai, Ziki are, literally spinning up the Wi-Fi and working out of a WeWork and then building hundreds of people's teams across the country. And that journey is full of ambiguity, full of grind, full of difficult decisioning, but very satisfying. If you're a builder, if you don't like building things, this satisfaction will keep alienating you. You will feel pressure. Because let me put it this way, opening for India is the hardest for whoever opens for whichever team in the world. It's the new ball swinging along, world's best bowlers that are bowling. Whoever is opening, you cannot say opening people look forward. And then, of course, then you'll have a Rohit Sharma come in the white ball, and then you'll have Matthew Hayden coming in the red ball. And they're not natural openers, but they enjoy that pressure. They enjoy that moving ball. Today I'll get out, tomorrow I'll get a 200 in 50 overs. I always treat cricket analogies. So people like me, it's the ambiguity which I like. I have a lot of risk appetite because I spend a lot of time in committing, and I spend a lot of time in researching whether this business is worth my time, money, and effort. Because I have to put food on the table. I've got two young kids and family, so I spend a lot more time, maybe a year and a half, always think about it. Is it worth my full-time role? And that is important for a young entrepreneur. An idea comes, and then you realize there are about 75 people doing the same thing, and then you shut that company down, and there are about 65 people in your company. That's absolutely an absolutely knee-jerk thinking. Spend time in the idea, keep questioning the idea, keep figuring out the business model, keep figuring out how quickly you start making money. Not that you'll be depending on funding. Funding to I never had funding for my first two entrepreneurship stints.
Hmm.
We made it profitable. And look at the large groups. So focus on that idea. Is it worth your 70, 80-hour weeks? And embrace ambiguity in the entrepreneurship journey. Difficult times is not about the business model is working or not. The difficult time is whether it will get adopted or not. And have you got the right people? Because business is what? Without good people. Have you got the right team? These are some certain principles which now have become second nature to me. Of course, I have a 25-year-old career across very many countries, multiple entrepreneurship stints, multiple stints where I joined a very young business. And then it went. And there's a lot of learning and continuously learn, observe. Because the generation who's 26, 27, they know more than you in
Hmm.
many things. What you know is how your experience to deal with different use cases, scenarios. And of course, if you're a subject matter expert, you will organically continue to learn. These are the nuggets, I would say, Priya, very common nuggets, but I always keep these things in my mind.
Got it. And this is my final question, and I think you as a techpreneur are in a good place to answer this because I have seen that every country technology comes in waves, and some of the countries leverage that technology to, skyrocket their growth. This happened to
Correct.
China when they embraced manufacturing,
And semiconductors,
and
correct. And
yeah,
and chips, correct.
and same happened to Korea and everything. So I felt that India, having some experience into IT, they could have leveraged AI to a great extent. But I feel like a lot of AI stuff is happening in US and China, and India kind of has missed the bus, if you will. So, how do you foresee uh, India's future into AI, and how do you foresee the world when the AI will become very smart and everything will have AI embedded into it? What will happen to India?
I'll tell you something. India is the smartest when it comes to becoming the number two and number three and number four entrant. You imagine today, India's learning and observability framework is the best in the world. You see, Tesla has come. See, BYD has come from China. India quite slowly is you know, building their EVs. Tata Group is building Nexon. The new model from Mahindra Group is slowly got built. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
And India kind of learns from it and makes the best. Believe me, because of India's multilingual, multicultural fabric, AI in India will take over. But the good thing is you don't need to invent all the time. You
Hmm.
don't need to invent because there has to be a pioneer. But the second is who's going to take the flag bearer? Who's going to be the flag bearer for the next 50 years? AI's biggest flag bearer is India's own user base is 1 billion, मतलब 100 crore log, 100 crore, America 35 crore, 35 crore population. China 1.5 crore, but they're serving their own selves. India will serve AI for their own selves in a capacity which nobody will figure out. You've seen the Bharat stack evolution.
Yeah.
Processing of a transaction takes hours, few hundreds. We process billions of transactions thanks to UPI. You've
Yeah.
seen the GST platforming. You've seen Aadhaar ID across 100 crores. There's no, India's championing the tech stack in a very different way. We don't give compliment to the government. The government's tech stack, technology track, and the impact over the last few years is pioneering. AI, you don't need to pioneer because Americans have not pioneered. Americans have pioneered from 60 years back. AI has been there for 60 years. Gen AI, India doesn't need to because India, today, you can't generate a proper Indian face from any of the Midjourneys and the Soras of the world because it's all full of Western European faces. So slowly it's coming. Indians will look at this whole space of Gen AI. Pure AI, India is still doing decent.
Mhm.
India's pioneering will happen in overall cloud play. India's pioneering will happen in overall EV play. India's pioneering will happen in BCI play, the brain computing interface play. India will champion the next phase of neural link contextual to Indian neural link modelings. India will champion AI in its own use cases. I think India is in very best placed. Example typically like Team India.
Hmm.
Australia can be the world beaters, but then India slowly will build a very strong cricketing infrastructure and a very strong IPL and a very strong NCA, and then become the world's biggest. India will become the last entrant or the second last entrant and will explode. That's India's fabric, by the way, because academics and intelligence is embedded at a very young age and literacy, we observe and learn. We observe and learn. That's the human definition differentiator of an Indian brain with 80 billion neurons compared to an American brain and a Chinese brain. They always want to pioneer. And China does the same, but they mimic. They continue to observe
Hmm.
one country. India is not observing one country. India is observing China, America, Western Europe, Southeast Asia, Africa, South America. So
Right.
India will explode. And I'm an eternal optimist, Priya, and I mean, why not? Because look at what India has become in the last 10 years, just in the tech space, from UPI, from government Bharat stack to e-commerce growth to food tech to EVs to EV scooters. Where were we in 2015? Can't imagine what India's growth story is. Have we pioneered something? Yes, two or three areas. Will we keep pioneering? We will pioneer two, three areas. We will never pioneer. The days are gone when you become jack of all, master of all. No, jack
Hmm.
of all, master of one or two.
Got it. And here is my closing question, and then we'll wrap up. Uh, of all these years of being an entrepreneur, tell us what is that one thing that you have understood about entrepreneurship? So, what happens is many of the young listeners, they find entrepreneurship fancy. They think that there's a lot of money to be made in entrepreneurship. You can drive fancy cars, and it's a wonderful life, which is also true in a way, but that's not a right expectation to have. Just to make money, you should enjoy an entrepreneurship, and it comes with a lot of pain as well. So, what is the right expectation to have before somebody thinks about entrepreneurship?
I'll tell you something which is very important. It's like Rahul Dravid said the other day, right? And I keep using cricketing analogies, and my Indian colleagues and my Australian colleagues and my British colleagues will all orient themselves. You probably would have practiced 10,000 balls to practice your forward defense. And you've got only 100 test matches, and you probably practiced about 10 lakh balls. You just see the output of an entrepreneur on a magazine or a car he's driving or she is driving. It's hard. And people who have made it is probably 5 in 500. And that's the ratio it's going to be, because entrepreneurship goes through a journey where the world of making money and taking money from an investor and exiting is gone. You have to
Mm,
build profitable businesses. Every large business group focuses on profitable business, and you have to commit to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years. Entrepreneurship doesn't happen in 1 year in an idea sitting in front of your laptop. Entrepreneurship is hard in terms of the adoption. Why would somebody adopt your product or a service, man? It has to be something stunning, because in the world today, we've got so many options.
right.
Whatever, B2B services, consumer facing physical hardware products, from perfume to trucks, from healthcare services to, home deep cleaning services. It's not easy.
Mhm.
Third is, there will be money, but money is an output. And not everybody is becoming $1 billion people. Some people are making few million. Some people are making less than that. But the journey is still the same: extreme grueling, extremely happy, extreme fun, and extremely ambiguous.
Mm,
Ambiguous because, you know, you need to figure out what's not working. You need to figure out what's working, and you need to pivot in what's working, and then you need to over-index adoption. Entrepreneurship journey, and the most important part, enjoy profitability at the focus from the idea level. Then you're building a business. Entrepreneurship is nothing but building businesses. In the startup word is what you can't say that I'm a 20-year company and I'm still a startup. Then something's fundamentally wrong. You have to build a successful, sustainable business, and you have to become profitable, and you have to look after your people, you have to look after your customers. Then you can say that I have had a successful entrepreneurship. Oh, by the way, you will make money anyway if you do all
mm,
these things.
yeah,
It is not that you get funded at a Series A level and I take my money and go. Invariably, within the next 2 years, that guy's going to fail.
right.
And it's hard. Yeah. It's as difficult as running a family. And
Mm,
every day there is problems. Every day there is euphoria and excitement of having small milestones done. Entrepreneurship is nothing but just another alter verse of normal life. And all those principles work. Yes, you need to know your P&L. You need to know management strategies. You need to know people management, man management. You need to know sales strategies. You need to know closure strategies. You need to know market strategies. You need to learn continuously about the psychography of a consumer. If it's a consumer business, if it's not it's a B2B business, you have to understand the business psychography and the industry psychography all the time. But that just comes naturally. That's part of your Monday to, and there's no Saturday, Sunday for an
right.
entrepreneur. You're
Yeah.
still with your family and enjoying and having a dinner, but you're constantly working. And there's no work-life balance, but there's tremendous work-life harmony.
Mm,
Work-life harmony. I work very many flexi hours. I was working late last night, and then today I might not be working after this phone call, and I'll spend time with the family. Tomorrow, on a Sunday, I might work for a few hours, and then I'll take some time and play football or any sport with my boys. And Monday again, in the morning, I might have a meeting. See, entrepreneurship is 24/7 if you want to make it work-life harmony.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurship is not about stamping your ID 9:43 and getting out at 5:14. No, that's not entrepreneurship. So those were my guidance.
Well, I think it was an interesting conversation. I personally got to learn a lot, and I think you are one of the truly dynamic individuals who have got knowledge on different areas, different domains, and you have also working experience, hands-on experience into different industries. So thanks for joining us, Sovik. It was a pleasure to have you on our platform, and our best wishes for the amazing work that you're going to already doing and going to be doing later on.
Priya, thank you so much. And extremely thoughtful questions, extremely pertinent questions. And I wish you the best with your entire track on all the form factors. ELI is present. And hope you do well, man. And hope you keep learning and hope you keep growing and take this to the next level.
Thank you. Thank you, Sovik.
Thank you.